We put in a lot of work to keep Northern Perspective running. We don't believe that it's fair for an entity to come in, ignore the fair use laws, and then take what we've earned from Northern Perspective. Not only has the CBC been coming after the actual members of Parliament with their government-funded platform, it seems they are also taking an interest in our channel here at Northern Perspective. More specifically, the money we rely on from our videos. Well, what do we mean by that?
Let's take a look. So, many of you attended our live stream of Parliament on Monday.
Many of you.
Yeah, over 11,000 of you.
Which is a Northern Perspective record.
Yeah, and a total of 82,000 people viewed it up until now. So it was surprising to us when we received this email today. So it's from YouTube, and it says, "Hi, Northern Perspective. Copyrighted content has been detected in your video. Quote, Freeland's bomb goes off. Fall economic update might bring an election. December 16th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The visibility of your video is not impacted, but you can no longer monetize it. The copyright owner is now either monetizing it or receiving analytics about it. This is not a copyright strike and does not affect your channel." And it says content used. Freeland resigns from cabinet ahead of fall economic statement. And content owners, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Content type, video. Impact on video, not monetizing.
Now, we found this very peculiar because we didn't use the CBC as a source for this. We used ParlView. We used the parliamentary feed direct from Parliament when we were live streaming this and did not use any material from the CBC. In the case that this could have been a fraudulent copyright claim that was made by somebody pretending to be the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, we double checked with YouTube.
But before we get there, and before we could even react to this, we got a second email. "Hi, Northern Perspective. Copyright content has been detected in your video. NDP actually admits they will only topple Liberals after Jagmeet gets his pension. The visibility of your video is not impacted, etc., etc. Content used. Freeland resigns from cabinet ahead of fall economic statement. Content owners, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Content type, audio, video." To Tanya's point, we were saying, okay, before we jump the gun here, let's just make sure that this isn't some jerk on YouTube
who's pretending to be the CBC, not only trying to affect us, but also trying to drag their good name through the mud.
So we had contacted YouTube support, and YouTube support was actually quite helpful in this regard, and they were able to confirm that the email address from the account that was claiming the copyright on our channel was from, as you can see, cbc.ca. So this was all the proof we needed in order to decide what to do next. So just to show you what it looks like when you get a copyright claim on one of your videos on YouTube, this is what it looks like for the first one. And this is what it looks like for the second one. The interesting thing is,
news in Canada is generally thought to be fair use, which is why we report on the news.
Right. So the first thing that that I double checked is, are we just crazy? No, we're not crazy. But I filed a dispute. That's one thing that you can do to say, no, this is actually not a copyright claim. So you can go through that process and you put in your justification and you send that back to the copyright claimant, the person making the claim, and hopefully they see it and say, oh, okay, you know, that my bad, no problem. And then they release the claim. But they didn't. They didn't.
They doubled down.
Yeah. So this is what we got next. After reviewing your dispute, CBC has decided that their copyright claim is still valid. Now, this is on the Freeland one. This one is crazy, folks, because the only way you can claim a copyright on somebody else's video is if it's your content, like you're the original creator.
Right, but it is generated by AI, and the AI does make mistakes. We've had it happen many times before where footage that we have used from ParlView is identified in other people's videos, and YouTube tells us, oh, hey, people are using your footage. Well, it's not our footage, so obviously we don't claim it because it's not our footage.
Right. So in this case, and we're not going to bother showing you the footage, but in this case, what it showed, and you can actually see in the screenshot, it's Tanya and I on the side and our banner below, and it's just the Conservatives talking in Parliament. And we were streaming this directly from Parliament. We didn't download this, and we didn't go to CBC stream. This was direct from ParlView itself. Now, CBC doesn't own the content at ParlView. They don't distribute the content at ParlView. So for them to dispute the claim that I had said that CBC doesn't own this is rather peculiar. So our opinion is that they do not own this content, and therefore it's an invalid and false copyright claim. Let's move on to the next one. So again, we received a dispute email from CBC saying that no, their claim is still valid. Well, here's the thing, folks. There's actually something in Canada called the Copyright Act. And in Canada, there's also something called fair use. Now, content creators on any of the media platforms need to be well versed in this, because if they're not, then they're asking for trouble and, are risking a whole bunch of problems with themselves. So what fair use essentially means is that there's certain types of media that are out there that are generated by certain types of creators that you can take and use without asking permission from the original copyright owner. News is one of them. And in order to prove that, let's take a look at the Canadian Copyright Act. So this is section 29.1 of the Canadian Copyright Act. And the section is criticism or review. So fair dealing for the purpose of criticism or review does not infringe copyright if the following are mentioned. A, the source, and B, if given in the source, the name of the author in the case of the work, performer in the case of the performance maker in the case of the sound recording, or broadcaster in the case of a communication signal. Section 29.2, news reporting. Fair dealing for the purpose of news reporting does not infringe copyright if the following are mentioned, the source, and if given in the source or the name of the etc., 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 everything that was mentioned in 29.1.
And this is another reason that we list all of our sources in the description. Not only do we want you to go read them, but we want them to get the recognition that they deserve.
And we also don't alter the original video clip in any way, but aside from transitioning in and out, because we want you to see the video clip as we're getting it. Otherwise, what's the point in putting the source in? So we are covered under the Fair Use Act when it comes to CBC News, because they are in fact CBC News. So that's our opinion on the matter. Now, what is the effect of this copyright if we don't do anything? Well, CBC ends up taking all of the money that we actually earned off of those videos, and they take it for themselves. That's the effect.
Yeah, and again, it's just Ryan and I running this show. All of our income comes from YouTube now, after Ryan lost his job with the government. And I mean, we put in a lot of work to keep Northern Perspective running. We don't believe that it's fair for an entity to come in, ignore the fair use laws, and then take what we've earned from Northern Perspective.
We are very confident we're going to win this, and it has been escalated within YouTube, since there's no point in filing another appeal with CBC, because they're just going to probably dispute that and bring it back on us. So we're going this route, and if YouTube finds that CBC has falsely claimed copyright against our channel, there's some possible consequences to that. What are these consequences? Well, one of the consequences that YouTube dishes out for falsely claiming a copyright on somebody else's channel when you don't even own it in the first place is you could actually be prevented from uploading videos to YouTube. And if you can't upload videos to YouTube, then you can't earn money on YouTube. So CBC News wouldn't be much of a news organization if they couldn't upload their videos to YouTube and earn money off of YouTube. Now, could they? So it's curious why CBC is issuing copyright claims against channels like ours when one of our videos they issued the claim against, they don't even own the content to begin with to even issue the copyright claim. And two, they're a news organization under the Canada Copyright Act where news is actually fair use. So it's rather interesting that this is all starting to happen now. But that is what we were dealing with today, folks. So fingers crossed that our appeal to YouTube and their internal investigation is fruitful and that they side with us because we believe we're in the right here. And we can get back to doing what we do best, which is hold this government to account and even its government-funded news agencies.